There were nights that I would get into bed at 11 and look up, and it ended up being 3 in the morning. And I could not tell you one single thing that I had watched that actually ended up helping me long term. Not one. 4 hours completely gone by, and my brain had absolutely nothing to show for it. And this happened for a while. I'd find myself not being able to go to sleep without scrolling. I'd find myself checking every single comment section because I wanted to know what other people thought. And at the time, I thought that it was something important. I justify it with it keeps me updated on the news and important details and helps me with research of things I need to find out. But at the end of the day, that was really just a cope. I didn't need that. I didn't need any of it, and it was just hurting me long form. So I decided one day at work to get rid of it. And I'm not going to tell you that it completely fixed my life because it definitely didn't. And people that say that are lying. And I'm going to be straightforward. A lot of people that tell you to delete social media because it is bad for you, they're usually only telling you that because they don't know how else to make sure you keep coming back. Like if someone posts on YouTube, they're obviously going to say delete TikTok and Instagram so that they will be your main form of entertainment. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that. I'm going to say if you have an addiction with YouTube as well, you should probably delete it for a little while until you can get that under control. But in the same way, it didn't fix my life, it gravely improved it. Because something I noticed is my brain's a lot quieter. I'm able to focus and do nothing. Nobody's able to do nothing nowadays. I mean, if you look at any video on how to grow on TikTok or Instagram or anything like that, you're always seeing stuff along the lines of you need to have your content engaging within the first 3 seconds. And isn't that sad? I mean, 3 seconds now might be a second in 5 years from now. You go to every single comment section, and every single video is an equal hive mind. Very little separated and different opinions. And once you start looking at it from an outside source, you'll start to realize that those people are the same people who are doomed to fail. And I'm not saying by scrolling on TikTok you'll never be successful, because, I mean, it's possible, and you definitely can, but not the addiction that I and a lot of other people have had. When nobody can think for themselves, and it just ends up being a forever cycle of hive mind echo chamber where if you don't support this or you don't like this character or this song isn't your style, people castize you and they cast you out and you can't be a part of that group. And so you'll change your opinions even if it's on the outside so that you fit that exact group, which I don't think you should ever do. If you don't agree with something and you don't support something and you don't like something, that should be you, right? Something over your life has made it to where you don't like that. Maybe it's a moral obligation or religious or psychological or really anything. Those are what make you you. And the second you start changing all of that so that you can fit in a group in a comment section with thousands of people that's probably the only time you'll ever even see or hear of them is bad. I mean, how often have you either been driving or riding in a car or going to the gym and you have to be on TikTok? I mean, I was there once, so I'm not, putting anyone down directly, but I am saying that you should try to change that. Like at my gym, every single day there's the same kid that goes. He's probably around 16 to 18, and he spends most of his time on TikTok just scrolling. And it's sad because that is what it is doing to this generation. So exactly what I did is I saw that I was that person. I was always scrolling and looking for the next 5 second dopamine hit so I can move on to the next one. So I deleted it. And at first it was hard. At first I would sit in my truck before I went into work and I'd think to myself, what's the point? I'm just sitting here. I might as well scroll. I might as well download it back. But I stuck to the discipline and I controlled myself and kept it that way. I decided I was not going to download it back, even if I really did want to. And I know a lot of people say, well, I'll keep it so that I can, look at cooking recipes or check up on my friends or something like that. That's not what will happen, okay? Because I made that excuse for a long time before I actually deleted it. And what actually happens in those situations, as you get on to go look at what you wanted to look at, the first video catches your attention, and before you know it, you're scrolling. And it is a never ending cycle. You need to delete it. You need to get away from it for as long as possible. And I promise your brain will feel so much more calm. Everything will be more quiet. You'll be more creative, which is very important if you want to take the entrepreneur lifestyle as well. But here's the mechanism behind it is short form content is directly built around how long can we keep the viewer engaged before they swipe. So every clip has to be engaged within 3 seconds so that the viewer finds it entertaining enough to actually stick around before they click on to the next. People do that for hours, and your brain just goes into this brain slop gravy like state. I mean, you stop being able to think for yourself and have your own opinions. And the second you don't have it, the second you have the itch, you tell yourself that life is too boring and you just need it. You didn't lose your attention span, you just traded it. 3 seconds at a time for months. That's it. Imagine if you'd spend all that time, all those hours a day, building something for yourself. And that's what FOBO is all about. Fear of being ordinary. And you don't have to build a business. I'm not saying you do. But FOBO is about more than just being the sheep in a herd. It's about doing your own thing, carving out the path that you want to take, and that's completely fine. You don't have to start a business. You can have a side hustle, just make yourself some extra income or get the physique you want, you know. And it's anything that you want it to be that's aside from just being another cog. But fast forward a few weeks after I deleted it, and it was hard the entire time, I found myself able to find peace and enjoyment in the quiet. And I'm not exaggerating or I'm not trying to sell you something or taking something out of context when I tell you right now that it genuinely improved my brain and everything in my life, and it's very important that you do realize that. But it hit me. Everything's quiet. Not just the room, but my head. I can go on a walk without having to look down at TikTok, and I can be happy or go to the gym without having to scroll between sets. I can take a shower without scrolling, or, I can just go right to sleep. I don't have to scroll anymore because the addiction has already been broken. And now, at this point in my life, where I am now, where I've had it deleted for several months, I don't want to go back. When I do get on TikTok, I do have it now. It is specifically for recipes and to post my content on there so I can have a larger reach, obviously. But even those few minutes I'm on, I feel gross. Like, I can't stay on the For You page. It feels not me anymore. And even if you just want to stick with your 9 to 5, if you like being an electrician or a plumber or, you know, whatever it is, if you enjoy your life like that, that's fine. And you can still have the FOBO and be a part of this community without needing to go start your own business. But here's why this still applies to you. Every good idea you've ever had, it arrived probably when you weren't looking for it. You probably didn't have, if you did start a business, the idea of what to do while doom scrolling or something like that. You probably had it while on a walk and you had quiet in the shower. And bettering your life starts with being able to have those simple ideas. And when you do hit a roadblock, you are able to think about it from multiple different angles at once to try to find it and get past what it actually is. But people mistake boredom. Boredom isn't the absence of just stimulation, it's your brain asking for the room to think. You probably have not been bored in years, which means the part of your brain that generates original ideas hasn't had to shift in years. It hasn't had to grow or adapt. It has been constantly stimulated. With the second you get bored, you can't handle it. So you find Instagram Reels or TikTok or whatever it may be. But here's exactly what I did. I knew I wanted to start a business. And at the time when I deleted it, I had no clue what I wanted that to be. I had ideas and I had things I wanted to do and goals, but for the most part, I didn't know. And I looked to scrolling to try to figure that out for me instead of finding something for myself. But now I do know. Now I know the goal I want to have in 10 years. Now I know where I want this channel to go. Now I know everything that I want to do with my life, and I have the next several years planned out, and things never go according to plan, so we'll have backup plans, and life happens, obviously. So I replaced the short form with long form. And you may be thinking to yourself, that's not better. Well, I mean, it kind of is because you're training your brain to be okay with not having the constant stimulation, where instead you're able to focus through the mundane. You're able to still enjoy, even when that part of that video isn't constantly changing and captions flashing on screen and fancy animations. But what I mean by long form is educational business content. At the time, shortly after this, I got into day trading and I was looking up videos on how to do that and getting better at that, but I ended up putting that down. But that's what I would do, and that's what I would suggest for you to do as well. But here's the thing, you need to delete it. And this is where I'm going to leave off. Delete, don't limit, okay? If you set a limit and you get bored enough, you'll just press ignore. You need to delete and have the discipline, enough discipline to tell yourself that you will not get it back. Discipline is where everything in life is going to start to improve for you. Discipline to go to the gym, discipline to show up when it's hard, the discipline to just be involved. You need to delete it. And as far as news goes, I mean, think about it this way. When you used to wake up and maybe you saw your grandpa reading a newspaper or something, that was such a small amount of information at one time. Now you are compiling a vast amount of information that one person cannot even comprehend at such a rapid rate that it doesn't even make sense. Your brain doesn't know where to store it, it doesn't know what to do with it all. So you start making things up and confusing it, and you'll see something that's going on overseas and think that your life is falling apart because of it. And it's okay to care, it's okay to be sympathetic and empathetic, but social media is also made to divide us. And that's what people don't see. Race, religion, gender, it's all there to say, look, you're not alike, because it keeps us down and it keeps us exactly where they want us to be, and that is ordinary and unable to fight back. But I do want to thank you, each and every one of you, for watching it. At this time, I have 19 subscribers and I've posted quite a few videos. So, this is a perfect example to stay disciplined even when it's hard, because I've wanted to quit multiple times. I haven't. Thank each one of you for watching this video. If you did enjoy, consider liking, subscribing, and commenting your thoughts, and I will try to get back to each and every one of you. Thank you for watching.